you here today. I know I didn't give you a whole lot of notice for this live, but I hope you can come back in and watch the replay. So I just was inspired to come on and talk today about this topic of, does your style reflect your true self? So we'll be chatting about that. Let me know when you come on. Say hi in the chat. So I'm Dr. Shelley Nash. I'm an elite level mindset coach. I help high achieving women to unlock the genius within them, 10x their income, and really claim the success that they want and deserve. So if you've been around for a while or you're just joining us in Living Powerfully community, I want to welcome you here. This is a group of women who are supporting each other, empowering each other, seeing the best in each other, and going for our goals together. Because none of us do it alone. We are all in this together. So happy to be here with you today. So if you have been on some of my recent calls, you know that I have a program that I've started this year called Self Mastery to Riches Academy. And this is really helping women to build a solid foundation for the success that they desire, and really then to go on and achieve exponential gains in their life. So I just wanted to let you know that the cost for that program is going up July 1st. And so if you are interested in talking to me about coming into Self Mastery to Riches Academy, definitely send me a DM today. July 1st is only a couple days away. If you get in with me on the DMs right away, then we can chat about if that would be a good fit for you or not at this time. So, but in the Style Maker in the Self Mastery to Riches Academy, I have a colleague and friend that comes into that group, and she has a program called Style Makers Academy, Juliana Huxa, and she is a colleague of mine. She also has a long fashion background, studying style and fashion, and she has a program, a 7-week boot camp that we go through as part of the Self Mastery to Riches Academy. And we are in that boot camp right now. And that's why I wanted to do this talk with you, because what I realize is that there's a lot of things about style that even I didn't realize was affecting how I dress. And so we're going to chat about that a little bit today. It's just a random topic that I picked. I don't have a lot of planning for this talk, but I do have some ideas to share with you today. So I guess the first question is, does your current style, your current fashions that you wear, how you dress yourself, really reflect your true self? So the purpose of my program, Self Mastery to Riches Academy, is really to tap into your true self, to find out who are you really, and what is your purpose in the world, and what are you doing here? And so having a personal style, a way that you dress that's a reflection of your true self, is so important. But there's many steps to that. At first, of course, we have to discover who you are, at the core of who you are, and what your purpose is, what your genius is. And so we do that in Self Mastery to Riches Academy. And then we also, after a few months of working in that, getting that really clear for you, then we start this Style Makers Academy program, where we're actually looking at both at the same time. We're how you see yourself from the inside out, and how you present yourself on the outside. We were looking at how others see you, and how you've seen yourself that hasn't worked for you in the past. Maybe you have a self-image that you've had since you were very young, and it's not the same self-image you need to have for your current employment, your current job, your current career, who you are right now. But this is so interesting, and I'm finding it so fascinating for myself, looking at our dress and how do we dress, and does that really reflect our truest self as well? So your style actually reflects your thoughts and your beliefs that you have about yourself. And as we know if you've heard me talk about the fact that we are all programmed at an early age by our environment and our genetics, And then if we don't change that programming, we tend to act out from that programming, those belief systems, those habits for the rest of our life. And how we dress, what I've discovered for myself, and discovering it for with my clients as they go through this as well, is that a lot of my style, the way I dress, comes from my parents and my grandparents, but mostly my parents, mostly my mom and my dad, and what they thought about style, how they dressed, their beliefs about how you should dress. So just ask yourself this question: why do you dress the way that you do? And have you ever really thought about it? Why do you choose the things you choose? Why don't you choose some other things? And why is that? And this is so important in your self-unfolding process, the discovery of who you are and the expression of that truest self to the world. It's just so important. So, for example, my father was very restrictive with my mother, and he wouldn't allow her to show any cleavage. He wouldn't allow her to, he would make her do a test to see if he could actually see cleavage when she bent over. And if he could, then she couldn't wear that outfit or that dress or that swimsuit. She had to be fully covered. And so I have that same, shall we say, paradigm, or that same belief system, or that same feeling about myself. If I have cleavage showing, I'm very uncomfortable. And I started to realize that this is because when I have cleavage showing, I'm going against my father's beliefs. And so it's creating some chaos and uncomfortableness within me. So, however, my truest self, as I discover more and more about her, she's okay showing cleavage. It's okay. And so I just want you to think about this. Also, and so then it's kind of funny, because on my new website, when you see it coming up, or actually on that picture that's in the Facebook banner, that picture, when I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, there's cleavage. And I was like, I had this instant reaction to the fact that there's cleavage in this photo that I'm showing the world, and the realization that the fact that my father was so against showing cleavage, it set an impression in me. And that was my instant reaction when I saw the photo. And then as I started looking at the photo more and more, I realized, no, that's beautiful. That's me. That's me expressing myself. That's, my truest self. And it's a woman, and it's beautiful. And so as I started to rewrite the script for myself, I noticed that I choose different kinds of clothing. So, I just want you to start thinking about, how did your mom dress? And do you dress like your mom? How did your father dress? And how does your beliefs about how you dress, and how do your parents' beliefs about clothing and dress and style affect you, and what you should and shouldn't do? And then there's also cultural beliefs about how we should dress, how we should look, maybe for certain careers, or in certain situations. Like, so one thing I also notice is that, having had weight issues my entire life, anytime that I am in my higher weight and I have rolls, I tend to want to wear looser clothing to cover up the rolls, to not let the rolls show. And when I started working with style and fashion, I noticed that it actually looks better to have more fitted clothes, that when you have those loose clothes on, that it actually adds more weight to the weight that you already have. So just some things to notice. I also notice in the world, when I go into the world, I notice that a lot of my friends that are African American or Black, they are very comfortable wearing tight clothes. And I notice a lot of my women friends who are heavy set don't like to wear tight clothes, that like to prefer to wear looser clothes, to do that cover up thing. So I'm just throwing this out there to get us to think about this, like to ask these questions, like, why do we do this? And is this really expressing our truest self, the way that we're dressing right now? And also, this is a continual process, because as you unfold yourself, your greatest self, as you go to your next level and your next level and your next level, your style may continue to change. And I've noticed that definitely for myself. So today I have on a print dress, and a few years ago, you wouldn't catch me in a print dress. For the most part, I've been a solid color girl for a long time. And then all of a sudden, there was a part of my truest self that loves to wear dresses, that loves to wear print dresses, and loves, and not every print dress what I wear, but certain dresses in a certain fashion. So just such good things to think about. And so this is what we do in the Self Mastery to Riches Academy and the Style Makers Academy that we do as part of that program. We also are looking at limiting beliefs that we hold. We talk about that a lot in this group. I talk about that a lot as far as going to your goals, what's holding you back, what's causing you fear. The conditioning and the limiting beliefs hold us back in all areas of our life, as well as our conditioning, habits, and limiting beliefs hold us back in our developing our own style. And there's a quote. It's not really a quote, but it's a statement that I've heard from my mentor, Bob Proctor, saying that when you change your behavior, you only get a temporary result. But when you change your thinking, you get a permanent result. So let's unpack that as far as fashion goes, as far as your style goes. And please let me know who's here, and make a comment if this is resonating with you today. So let's unpack that statement. When you change your behavior, you only have a temporary result. When you change your thinking, you get a permanent result. So who here has ever had a fashion style makeover, has ever gone to a store and had a stylist, dress you and pick out clothes for you? And a couple things about that. For one thing, sometimes that stylist that's making you over is only making you over from the outside, what looks best, what's in fashion, and made you over for an event or a wedding or something like that, but it didn't really feel like you, and it didn't last. You couldn't keep it up. You couldn't keep up the new look for yourself, for the main reason that you didn't learn how to do that for yourself. And that's another thing we teach you in the Style Makers Academy is to really understand yourself and your own style, and to really be able to do this for yourself for the rest of your life, and not to need a fashion makeover because you're doing it for yourself. So if you want to click the StreamYard, I don't know who is responding, but thank you for responding. So let's look at this. You go to a stylist and you get made over, and that's changing a behavior. That's changing you from the outside in, and you're only getting a temporary result. It only lasts while you have that outfit, while you can go to that wedding or go to that event, have that photo shoot, and then you go back to the way that you were dressing before, because you have the thoughts, habits, and feelings that you've had, and the beliefs that you've had before that are still running in your conditioning. So the way to really get a permanent result is to go back to look at our thoughts and our feelings, which includes our habits, our beliefs, our subconscious programming around why we dress the way we dress. And because we know we're programmed at an early age, it's also important to look at what our parents thought about style, what our parents thought about fashion, and grandparents and any around you when you were growing up, and see how that affected you. And this is so important because, people come into the program and they're so excited about Style Makers Academy because they feel like they're going to get this new look and this new fashion. They're going to be feeling great about themselves. And yet this is the place we're at right now in the class, is we're at this point of really looking at our programming around how we dress ourselves, what we think about ourselves, how much skin do we reveal, how comfortable are we with cleavage, how comfortable are we with tight clothes, do tight clothes look good on us or not? So it's really more looking at what is your paradigm, which is your habits, your beliefs, your self-image around style first, and changing that and rewriting the script of how you believe, how you talk to yourself, and getting in touch with your truest self so that we can tap into who you really are and how does she dress? How does she walk, talk, behave? And then we not only tap into your truest self, we ask you, like, what do you want? Where are you going? What is your goal? Who is that woman? Who is the woman of your dreams? Who is the woman that has the goal that you want to have, the certain amount of income you want to make, the job that you want to be doing, the success in life that you want? Who is she? And how does she dress, walk, and talk? How does she present herself? How does she hold herself? And really getting you congruent from your truest self, the person you were born to be, your unique genius that you are, to the woman that you want to be, the goal that you want to achieve. Get completely congruent and in alignment, and then start showing up as her right now, today. And the more you show up as her right now, today, the more you attract what she has in her life to you. So important. Are you resonating with what I'm talking about? Let me know in the chat. So when you get in touch with your true self, you also want to learn how to dress her in the style that expresses her and you into the world. So that when you go out in the world, people notice you. They'll compliment you. They'll want to know who you are and what you do, because you'll be radiating your truest self through this confidence that you have by knowing that your style is a reflection of your truest self, and that you did that. You understand how to do that. You understand how to do that every single day. And creating this personal style for yourself, it's not like, you dress up and then you have this style. This style comes from knowing who you are and having that confidence in knowing who you are, no matter what, that there is no one like you, that there is no competition in whatever your business is because there is no one like you. So you show up with that confidence, then it's almost like however you dress, you're going to have style, because your style is emanating from the cells of your body. It's a vibration that your body is in. And what we like to do is, it's kind of like adorning your body. It's like your body is already in this vibration and your confidence is there. If you were naked standing there, that would be in your style with that confidence. And so you're finding the adornments that you're going to add to your body that are going to keep it in that vibration, that are going to keep you in alignment with your truest self, that are going to help you to feel more confident, help you to feel that vibration, help you to get congruent with who you really are and stay that way. So Juliana, who helps me teach that class within my program, will often get on calls, and I swear she's in a tank top with the little skinny straps, or she's in a t-shirt, and even with no jewelry, and she has the style about her because it's this confidence in who she is. Or she'll have a t-shirt on and she'll throw a necklace, and then she's got the style, so it doesn't have to cost a lot of money to have this personal style. You don't have to buy designer dresses to have this personal style. Can you? Yes, you can, if that's what you want, if that's what you feel is best for you. But you can work your way up to that. So we don't have any requirements for buying things, or the first thing we do is we go through what you do have already, and how can we change it up a little bit? How can we alter it a little bit to have it be more in alignment with your true self and where you're going in your life? So if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. So I was going to tell you, my background is actually in fashion. I have a degree in textiles and clothing from a long time ago, and worked in the fashion industry for a while before I became a chiropractor and a holistic healer and a coach. So I have this background in fashion. And when I started realizing it through my coaching that we talk a lot about self-image, and we talk about self-image as the image you see yourself when no one is looking, how you see yourself. And then we have the image you present to the world. And so often the image you present to the world and how you see yourself are not congruent. So we are always trying to get those in alignment so that you can go to the goals that you want to achieve. And when I started realizing that, this how you present yourself to the world has to do with how you dress. And if you're not presenting yourself to the world in a way that is true to you, then people of the world are not getting the correct impression of who you are, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, how many of you have ever bought a suit to go to a job interview? And because a suit was what most of the people in that job wear, and that is a way to get in alignment with that company, but is that in alignment with you? And a lot of times we as women will wear suits to feel that masculine power. But why do we have to do that? Why can't we feel our feminine power, our full power, wearing a dress, wearing something feminine? Why do we go and wear a suit coat and try to look like a man in order to feel powerful? All of this stuff is very interesting. And back when I was in textiles and clothing, I was very interested in behavior and why we dress the way that we do. So it's so interesting to me that it's come full circle. So if you are interested in this topic of style and really wanting to dress for your truest self, then let's have a chat to see if Self Mastery to Riches Academy would be a good fit for you, in order for you to not only develop your truest style that is representative of who you really are, but really discovering what is the truth of who you are, what is your genius, what is your purpose, where do you want to go in life, developing a self-image. We do a self-image script, which is really writing a new script that helps you to replace the old things that you used to tell yourself about yourself that weren't working and weren't getting you where you wanted to go. So we write a new script for who you are. We talk about a lot about mindset and getting you through to understand your mind, understand your thinking, your emotions, and how that creates the result that you either want or don't want in your life. Because anything you plant in your subconscious level of mind, any thoughts that you get emotionally involved with will be created in your world. And your subconscious mind doesn't care it will accept anything that you give it. So we want to be really careful and understand how that process works and understand what we're implanting in our mind. So around the style, we're beginning now to write a script of our style in the group that we're going through. And if you're interested in this, definitely send me a DM. Be happy to chat with you more about it. It's very exciting. And so what I'll leave you with, and what I told my clients who were going through this, don't be so excited to get into the new clothes that you're going to get, because if you only get new clothes and dress in a different way, it's not going to be reflective of who you really are, and it's not going to last. You need to understand and learn about yourself, why you are the way you are, why you dress the way you dress, and learn to unpack that so that you can rewire that, those habits and beliefs and limiting beliefs, false beliefs, untruths that you have about how you dress or how you should dress, and discover really is true, what is true for yourself. So thanks for being on. I'm happy to be back doing the Tuesday lives, and I will see you next week for another topic. I will be bringing some guests on periodically that I'm excited to share with you about just different topics that they talk about that also have to do with living powerfully and as women in the world. So we'll talk to you soon. Have a great Tuesday. Bye-bye for now.